Okay, back again. So I eventually got hold of some piston ring compressors, and with those fitted to the rings, the barrels just slid down into place literally in seconds. It just dropped cleanly on, bang, finished, done. So that drama was averted by the use of the right tool. The barrels are now bolted down with their peculiar little star nuts. And then whilst I was at it, I removed the plug at the front of the engine and then screwed in this little tool, which matches with the crank and holds the engine in position to time it. The auto advance unit, if you recall, was loose, so with this all in place, I just turned the auto advance unit until the right hand set of right hand set of points were just opening. I knew it was the right hand one because I looked at the cam followers to see which were up and which were down, so I knew that it was the right hand piston that was on compression. So that's the points roughly set. They will be fine-tuned then once I've got the head on and I can be absolutely certain that everything's in the right place, but that's pretty close. As far as static timing goes, I can always strobe it up later and fine-tune everything later. Double check the points gap, all that sort of stuff, when the engine's properly reassembled. But for the time being, I know things are roughly where they should be, which is all good. So I suspect the next thing will be to fit the cylinder head. Or maybe this outer case. I might put this outer case on and then sort out the other side, put some oil in the sump and then fit the cylinder head. We shall see. You'll find out very shortly. Right, I've hung this cover on. It's only a few screws, nothing to report. Put the clutch cable in. Clutch cable's up and attached to the bars now. I'll need routing carefully with the wiring when I come to do that. I've done a quick check that the clutch is operating on the other side, which it is. It's lifting cleanly, I think. I'll tell further when I've got the kickstart attached because I can spin the engine and watch it. But it seems okay. So there's the kickstart to go on this side and the gear lever to go on this side. And the tacho cable. Now I'll just fit them, and I probably won't show you me fitting them because, again, unless something goes terribly wrong, it is slip on, tighten up a nut and bolt, job done. So not really anything of much interest. And then I'll fit the cover on the other side, I think, and then we can build up the head. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Okay, onward and upward. Right, kickstart's on. Slightly awkward to get on, but it's on. I just realised I haven't got a rubber, so I'm going to have to order one of them. But it works. Bring it back as it should. Gear change is on. Tacho drive is on. So on this side, I think we're pretty much done. We can put the footrests on, and the skid plate's going to have to go on as well, which means the speedo cable will probably have to be fitted first. Thinking about it, and then we can move on to the other side, and then finally stick the head on. And then it's going to have to be buy more parts time, I think, because things I have left to do then going to involve me forking out some dosh. Sad, but there you go. Nothing comes free. Okay, so I will plod on and bring you back as we come across anything unusual. But at the moment, as I said, everything's pretty much just screwing things back into place. Okay, let's get on with it. Because it's a Firebird, the footrests are sprung loaded. For this one, sadly, it's broken. I have a new rubber to go on as well. So I've got to find out how that fits. So I'm assuming I'm going to have to take that off first. Maybe. Oh no, maybe not. So there's the new spring, which must fit in there like that, I'm assuming. And get hooked. Oh my word, that's going to be a struggle. That's got to go over there like that. Right, let me take it apart. Because I'm going to have to paint these anyway. Right, there is a pin in that gap, which it hooks onto. It's going to be a real pain getting this in. It really is. And they need painting anyway. They need to be put into dove grey first, so I'll strip them, paint them, and then we'll come back and see how I'm going to put these together. The footrests have been painted now. I've assembled that one, as you can see. I was slightly concerned about how difficult it's going to go together. It was in fact fairly straightforward. So the spring just gets pushed into the hole like so, and then hooked over its little pin slot in there, which this one doesn't want to do for some reason, probably because it's now on camera. There we go. No. This is fairly typical. It was absolutely fine on the other one. And this one, it doesn't want to do it. There we go, right. And then you just have to use brute force to pull those across, which again is proving, this is unbelievable. This was so much easier on the other one. Anyway, you get the idea. That's got to pull across there. I used that to line it up and then knock the bolt through, which I will do on this one. And then the rubber footrest was just warmed and pushed on. So that will be the footrest. I'll just find out why this one's a bit tougher, and they can be bolted on. And there they are done. The right hand one, which you saw causing me a slight problem, is the one with the new spring, which made it harder to get on. So I ended up having to wrap that in cloth, clamp it in a vise, which gave me enough leverage then to pull that in place and drop the nut in, the bolt in I should say. So there they are, ready to go on. Right, on to the clutch side. I checked the clutch movement, it's adjusted now, everything's good. The plate lifted evenly all the way around, which I'm very happy about, saved me messing about. So the footrest's on, the brake pedal is on. The brake pedal, if you recall, was very bent. I think I've got it reasonably straight. It lines up perfectly with the brake light switch button. It stops properly on the footrest. It may be slightly in towards the engine more than you'd expect, but it's neat enough, and that's all that matters. The outside case, simple case to screw it on, having fitted a gasket and sealed it. And on the topic of gaskets, the gasket set I bought for this, I bought because it was made in England. And I thought, support British jobs, etc., as you do, particularly at this time. However, it's been really rather disappointing. The paper's quite flimsy compared to the originals that came off. I mean, noticeably flimsier. And also, it didn't fit very well. Holes for locating dowels and things were too small. The gasket that fitted here over the end of the rotor was completely the wrong shape. I had to trim it down and mess about with it to get it fit. Very disappointing. But anyway, aftermarket parts, I suppose. Anyway, there we go. So now the cases are sealed up, I suppose I could fill it up with oil. Certainly the bottom end, gearbox oil, a pint in the bottom for the pump to have something to work with when we get things moving. Bit in the chain case. Although having said that, I'm not sure I've got the chain case, so I shall look and see what oil I've got and then decide what to do. So the next obvious thing to do, I need to fit the chain guard and the sump guard, both of which require a coat of lacquer before they're ready to go on. I need to fit the cylinder head, and they'll probably be the next two jobs because I then have to source a battery to start messing about with the electrics. The paintwork on the tank is ongoing. These videos are out of sync, so the paint's ongoing. Hopefully that will be ready in the next week or so. There's a separate video on that. Frankly, I don't think there's a lot left. Fit the exhaust. Fiddle about. Anyway, just keep plodding on. Right, on with the head. And we need to put the, well, we don't need to, but the inlet rocker spindle can go in next. The exhaust one obscures these two bolts, so that'll have to go on once the head's in place, but the inlet one can go in. So we have our rocker shaft, and then there is a plain washer and a spring washer, then the actual rocker itself, and then a plain washer on either side of the pillar here, then the next rocker, and then finally a spring washer and a slightly smaller diameter washer there, and then on the outside we have our lock washer and our securing nut. The adjustment for the rockers is wound right back to give me room to get the push rods in when we're ready to go. The balance pipe is in place because that's very hard to get at otherwise. The stud is still out to enable us to get the head into place. So really the next thing to do is to lubricate all these bearing surfaces, lubricate the shaft, lubricate in there and fit it. So I'll actually move you around when I do that because it's quite awkward lighting it and showing you at the same time. I'm expecting this to be a complete pain in the ass, by the way. I've done them before, not on a BSA, but I've done similar things before with this type of rocker with the various springs and shafts, and they can be a bit awkward, a bit fiddly. So we might have to end up using this to help line things up. Anyway, we shall see. Let's not be defeatist before we start. Right, let's give it a go. Got some assembly lube. It's very sticky and stringy, but we'll cling in there. And a bit in there. Should all smear around as we go. We hope. Right. That gets inserted there. Then we've got a plain washer and a spring washer. Then our rocker. Not a very good start, is it? There we go. And then a plain washer. Have to pull the rocker back slightly to get the washers in. There we go. And another plain washer. And another rocker. Right. And same as on the other side. This is the trickiest one because you're running out of room. So the plain washer's up against the posts on each side, so we have to compress it and squeeze it in. Easier said than done. Like so. No. The open end tends to stick, sadly. Catches. It doesn't want to drop into place, which is what's happening now. No. There we go. Is that it? You little tinker. Keeps going and popping out. I told you this bit would be the hardest. And I wasn't wrong. It's going to have to come out again. It's catching on the head. On the rocker, I should say, not the head. Started so well. Catching on something. No, it's going to have to come out again. What a pain. Let's try that again. Right, little tinker, that looks more like it. There we go. Just needed the open ends up here so I could see them rather than at the bottom where I wasn't able to see them to maneuver them into place. So that just needs a gentle tap through. Which I should have this ready. And that. That's it, basically. I'll tighten that up in a minute because I've got the spanner here. So there you are, sprung loaded. Wasn't too bad, was it really? Can be a bit of a faff. That was fairly quick. Can't really complain. So I'll go and find the right spanner for that, which I haven't got with me. Tidy it up, tighten it up, and then the head can go on. Right, the head gasket has been annealed and is in place. I've given it a very light smear with copper grease as well. And the head has got the two rearmost bolts in it at the minute because they're also quite difficult to get in and out. So now we have to try and get this in. That must be close. Nope, it isn't. That way. Why on earth they make it so tight, I do not know. Just crazy. I'm going to have to go in front of you. I'm going to have to turn you off while I mess about this because it's. I'm going to have to put my head round and see where things are. Right, we're in. What a pain that was. I've had to remove the second stud at the front to give myself additional wiggle room. So the two back bolts are in place. I'll drop the front ones in now. I'll put the nuts on the 4 studs and then there's one bolt drop down the centre. I'll run them all down and then bring you back and torque them up. But what a major pain. And the other major pain is, whilst I was rummaging around looking for the nuts to undo the rocker studs, I appear to have mislaid the first one I took out. I can't find it anywhere, which is a bit of a worry. Anyway, I'll get on with fitting the rest of the head, which is, as I say, just a matter of getting the nuts on these studs and dropping down the additional head bolts. And then the final job then is to run round and torque them up in a diagonal fashion. It's gone down quite a bit from the wound them down initially, and then torquing those two has pulled it down a lot more than I thought. Right, I'll change the socket for the middle one and then tighten the nuts down. You don't need to see that, basically just showing you I'm torquing it.